Well, good morning, and you know what? Welcome to Rising. That's our show. We've got another great one for you today. I am joined by Niall Stanage. Nice to see you, Niall.
Always a pleasure, Robby. Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday, although it feels like we're kind of just getting the week going. That's
Absolutely.
what a holiday Monday always does to us.
Shortened week after Labor Day, but plenty to pack in for sure.
Plenty to discuss today, yes indeed.
Definitely. So coming up on Rising, I'll be discussing in a Niall's Notes segment how two courts ruled against President Trump on Tuesday and how that was a big win for the rule of law.
Plus, Trump says that the U.S. drone striked a boat allegedly carrying drugs and controlled by a Venezuelan cartel.
And the House Oversight Committee released over 33,000 pages of Epstein documents. But is there anything new in them? Lot to discuss there, but first, Robby, what is on your radar today?
Well, here's some not-so-breaking news. President Trump is perfectly fine, quite alive, and very much not dead. Confirmation comes straight from the president himself, who was surprised and slightly bemused by a question at a press conference yesterday, which came following somewhat widespread speculation on social media that perhaps there was something wrong with the president's health. Now, bored, gossip-minded social media sleuths often scrutinize pictures and videos of famous people or the lack thereof for evidence that the celebrity in question is unwell or possibly already dead and replaced, like Paul McCartney or Avril Lavigne, according to false internet rumors. Maybe false internet rumors, who knows? Recently, Trump has been the object of some of this speculation to the extent that the hashtag #TrumpDead was trending on social media. Now, obviously, no serious person really thought Trump was dead, though his appearance, his cadence, and vigor has all been scrutinized lately. Look, he is, after all, there's no way around it, the oldest person to ever assume the presidency. Trump's hand, in particular, has been of interest not just to random social media people, but also mainstream and progressive media outlets like the Daily Beast and New York Magazine. His hand, to be fair, has appeared bruised in a manner that suggests to me IV treatments, but before any media folks start worrying about Trump too much, we know they are worried because, oh, they love him so. Let's consider this reality check. Straight from the horse's mouth, Donald Trump himself, who was asked whether he was dead by Fox News' Peter Doocy.
Viral social media trend over the weekend. How did you find out over the weekend that you were dead? You see that?
No.
People didn't see it for a couple days. 1.3 million user engagements as of Saturday morning about your demise.
Really? I
didn't see that?
You know, I have heard, it's sort of crazy, but last week I did numerous news conferences, all successful. They went very well, like this is going very well. And then I didn't do any for 2 days, and they said there must be something wrong with him.
Trump then got to the heart of the matter, the real double standard at play, and you probably see it coming.
Biden wouldn't do him for months. You wouldn't see him. And nobody ever said there was ever anything wrong with him, and we know he wasn't in the greatest of shape. No, I heard that. I get reports. Now, you knew I did an interview that lasted for about an hour and a half with somebody, and everybody saw that was on one of your competitors. I did numerous shows and also did a number of truths.
Ah, yes, the poignant truths is what he said after that. So poignant, so truthful. Now, while I may not agree with everything President Trump wrote on Truth Social over the weekend, I do agree with his overall point. The mainstream media's interest in Trump's health seems more than a little disingenuous when it's coming from people who failed to properly vet former President Biden's health. And I don't mean to keep harping on this subject. Maybe you're getting sick of it, because at this point, we have exhaustively litigated the fact that Biden had declined precipitously during the last 2 years of his presidency, but was shielded from the press and his own cabinet by a very small number of advisors, and with a few rare exceptions, basically no one spoke up about it. The media certainly failed to do their job and demand access to the president, or point out that if they weren't getting access, well, maybe the public should start drawing conclusions about what that means. Now, perhaps the media will say, hey, now, we realize we screwed up. We want to do a better job this time around, and so we are being overly sensitive about any possible information that might point toward Trump's decline. But the American public might find that a little hard to believe. In any case, if Trump's health does decline, or his advanced age does catch up with him, well, you'll probably be the first to know, and you won't need the mainstream media to tell you. That's because Trump is uniquely accessible, not just compared with Biden, but compared with any other president in U.S. history. He sits for lengthy podcasts. He takes questions from the press. He converses with his cabinet with great regularity. If he does alter that schedule or disappear from the public eye, well, I hope the mainstream media does ask questions about that. But the evidence will be self-apparent. as Elon Musk likes to say about the community on X, which is really a stand-in for the online American public, you are the media now. Trump's health. We're scrutinizing it. I'm already annoyed by how this is going to play out over the next couple of years, Niall, because it's going to be any sign of decline, both physical or mental, is going to prompt, I bet, wall-to-wall coverage. And should we invoke the 25th Amendment? 25th, I always forget which one it is. Yeah. 25th Amendment. By people who said nothing about Biden for months.
So here is where I think I differ a bit from the analysis you just gave. The speculation about Trump's health.
The hilarious analysis.
Hilarious and witty and erudite analysis that you gave.
Thank you. Now you may proceed.
Is that it was not the mainstream media that was driving that speculation at all. In fact, the mainstream media only really were, in a sense, granted permission to pick it up when Ducey asked that question or when Trump appeared. The speculation that, Trump is dead or he's had a stroke or there's something catastrophic wrong with him was driven almost exclusively on social media and to some extent on sort of very left-wing independent media, but primarily social media. So to me, it doesn't point to the failings of mainstream media. It actually points to the way the old function of traditional media as gatekeepers has disappeared pretty much, has been vaporized. And that, in fact, has at times left those gates open for this kind of speculation that is just as kind of absurd in Trump's case as it is in Paul McCartney's or Avril Lavigne's or whoever.
That's an interesting point. I guess some of this social media commentary I saw was from, but it was not in a traditional media format. It was from who I would classify as mainstream media people, or even people who are writers or commentators for places like the Daily Beast or wherever, not to specifically call them out. And maybe and then the coverage I was pointing to, which is legitimate to some degree. I'm not saying please don't cover Trump's health or don't, call attention if he appears to have bruises. That's totally legitimate to write about or even ask him about at a press conference. And you're right that the media's ability to just ignore those kinds of questions is over forever, which was really the point I was getting at, is that because Trump is so accessible, it'll be pretty obvious when something goes awry with him, because he is, known for doing these fairly energetic hour-long conversations and interviews and press conferences. I hear he doesn't sleep well. Have you heard that set of things?
I have heard that, but I do remember that doctor during his first term, or his first campaign, who said he was the fittest president who's ever lived in the history of the Republic. So
look, he is an old man. He looks a little bit old. He does look a little bit older to me now than he did during the first term.
Well, and sorry to cut across you, but I mean, it has been acknowledged that he does suffer from, I believe the correct term is chronic venous insufficiency. It's when the veins in your legs cease to work as well as they once did, and that's what's leading to swelling around the ankles. It's sort of related to, but slightly different to, varicose veins. Whatever the bruising is on his hand that he sometimes tends to try to cover up, that's a little more mysterious.
I think they're giving him some kind of injection.
I assume so.
Yeah. Well, I think it is. So, look, we should keep talking about it. Shouldn't be ignored. I just, I think I can predict an overcorrection that is going to occur for how much his health and fitness is discussed in the next couple of years. Although really there were conversations about that even the first time around, that his zaniness was kind of used as a stand-in for his general cognitive health. Which
right. Well,
really if you don't like it in the first place, that's fine, but it hasn't really changed.
Yeah. Well, also whether his sort of lack of linear speaking has become less linear over time. Has the weave become more weavy? I think that's a valid question for sure.
The speculation about many people saying this and that,
right.
Saying it was a very good press conference, that kind of thing. All right, next up, an escalation on the war on drugs. Trump ordered a deadly strike on a vessel believed to be manned by cartel members on open waters. We have the footage of the attack. That's coming up right after the break.